Well guys, it's another hot day in Los Angeles and we've got a lot of business to take care of tonight, so I brought a little refreshment. Feel free to go grab your own. See if we can get this up without spilling everything. New Belgium Fat Tire Ale. Not a bad thing at all. All right, let's get to business. Here we go. The first thing we have, we're gonna come back to this in a minute. We have some business to take care of with this QRY100 here. I know a lot of people have been emailing me, getting pretty annoyed that we haven't finished the drawing, and I really apologize. It is just me. Nobody's paying me to do it, and as a matter of fact, I'm paying for the stuff I'm giving away, so I do apologize. I know I'm late, and we also got another drawing coming up, and I'm gonna do my best to get that taken care of on time, but bear with me. All right, so let me put this down, we'll come back to it. Put that up here, and here's what I found. I mean, I love toys. You know, that's just nothing better. New toys. Like somebody says, whoever dies with the most toys wins, and I'm obviously gonna lose, and I don't wanna win, I just wanna play with the most toys. I personally think that is a much, much cooler thing. So let me crack this open for you. And before I do that, let me show you the case. Upside down, maybe the other side. Here we go. This is the Walkera product, and as you know, the last couple of weeks, I have been playing with remote-controlled cars, RC, with a video on it, and I was fascinated with this truck because it already has a video camera built in. Even better, it probably is a failed product from Walkera because you can pick it up for about $150, ready to drive. All you need is a radio. I mean, who can argue with that? So here it is. Let me pull it out and show you guys what I got my hands on. That box went flying. Try to keep everything closed. There it is. And up here is no camera. And let's grab this and pull it out. And I'm not trying to kid anyone. I did unbox this before because it was quite an ordeal to get it out of the box. So I kind of cheated. Let me put this down for a second. And here's the coolness. That is a little camera. So this thing actually comes with a rig for turning the camera. What it does is, it goes right in here, and it has a shell, and I took the clips off already, but there's a little clips holding this hood. This is just plastic. And this thing here, you have to pull a cable out from inside and plug it into this loose cable right here. Once you have done this, you can see these two cables. The one is the camera, and the other one is the servo that does the looking up and down. So that goes in right here. You can see now it is ready, and it can also turn sideways like that. So that is really the main feature of this truck. I'm gonna try to pull it back off again. And let's take a look at the truck because that's much more interesting. So this is just a shell, and this is a 1/10 size. So if you're into the shells, you could buy any 1/10 size shell and put it on top of the base here. And I mean, for $150, you don't get a $1,000 RC car. That would be crazy to say so. It has a big bumper up front. I personally am fascinated by this little truck here. It has a rudimentary suspension in the rear here. You can kind of see the tires moving a bit. Well, they move more than you can see in the camera. Okay, and in the front, it also has a suspension so they can go over bumps, etc. And it has the ability to steer. That is all built into it. Down here is the steering calibration, and this is obviously very different from the undercarriage of a normal high-end RC truck, this all came as a straight plastic body, and I would not be surprised to learn that Walkera must have picked this up from some company somewhere, because I can't imagine Walkera that makes helicopters all of a sudden went out and created this case, but who cares? It's cool. So what did Walkera do? They added right here one of their really good radios, surprisingly. That is actually a $30 radio, the 701. It has the long antennas so that you can get really good signal, and that's usually used on an airplane or a quad that you're gonna fly a bit of long distance flying with. So that is a nice radio. The other thing they did, they put $60 worth of radio transmitter right down here. Can you see that? Here it is, an RX 5803. It's sitting right here, and it's hooked into everything. And then they made a cable that plugs into the camera on top. So let's get this connected. The camera comes down here, like that. Here's the camera, and here is the cable. If I can figure it out. That was the one. And like I said, I did cheat a little bit, and I changed the way the pan tilt was plugged into the radio. The reason for that is that they had the pan tilt, they had the speed on the throttle, but the steering on the right hand. So I switched it, and I used the throttle to look up and down, and the rudder to look around, and then I used the pitch for speed, and the roll, the aileron, for steering. So now I have the steering on the right stick and looking around on the left stick. So I did make some changes. Now what I'm gonna do is, let's get this fired up and see it working. I don't like this bumper too much. It's big and hokey and redneck, but let's get that thing off. Get this to look a little prettier maybe. There, better not lose that screw. There you go, big bumper. It says Monster on the back side, but it only has a grill on the front. I thought maybe it would say Walkera Monster Truck. It doesn't. That goes down here. So here's the truck. And if you remove some screws, you can also lose these 4 posts that is meant to hold the shell. And then you have a lunar lander rover with a camera on top, which I think is the coolest part of this thing. So here it is. To get it fired up, we have to go inside and connect it. And I hope I charged it. And inside there is an 8-cell, so it's 8 AA's that has been shrink wrapped. There's an 8-cell battery, and it has, I think it's called a Tamiya plug. Anything I fly, I convert it to an XT60, because that's what all my batteries have. So now this is plugged in, and we're gonna put this lid back on. And when it's shipped, it actually had a screw holding the lid in place. So there. And down at the bottom, it's cool. There is a little on-off switch right here, but you have to leave the battery unplugged when you don't use it, because if not, it will drain your battery. So it has an amount of consumption even though you have not turned it on. So make sure you unplug the battery. Okay, we're turning it on. And then I'm turning my radio on. I'm using my Devo S6, and I'm hoping it's gonna start working. It always takes forever to start these things. I don't know why. All right. Woohoo! See, what I did was I centered this so that 0 is on the center of the stick. And now when I back up, it's gonna back up. And when I push forward, it's gonna go forward. Just like that. And then on the same stick right here, I have the steering. So that's all on one stick. And now comes, of course, the question, I'm running out of hands. But here on the other side, see if I can move my fingers. Now here, we have the camera. And notice the cool little lunar lander hood it has. And the problem is this camera is a Devo. But remember, we already got ourselves a $60 radio or a $30 radio, a $60 video transmitter. So we're very ahead of the game here. And because this camera is hooked into this already in the kit and sending video to either your goggles or to something like an F4 radio. So if you can find a cheap F4 radio on the internet, that will give you a screen built in right down here so you can drive this at a distance. Notice I made a modification here so that I can get video at a long distance instead of as far as the original antenna works. So that's the long distance F4. Now, this hood up here, I'm gonna react that off because the problem with the Devo camera, come on, there. That was a breaking sound. No, nothing's broken. The problem with this camera, it's about 3-year-old design, and to be honest with you, even though it's pretty, maternity, you can see the little blue light on the side there, and I tucked in a little micro SD card on the side over here, right there, and the way you start this is by simply flipping down one time and then back up. Now you should be seeing a blue blinking. You see it right there. So now it has started recording. By flipping it down and back up, what you get is it starts recording. Flipping it down and back up again on the gear switch, turns on and off the camera. So that's how that is started. Excuse me for a minute. Cheers, guys. Okay, so now we've talked about this. Now, back to the problem with this camera. The Devo sucks, plain and simple, but who cares? This is a dirt cheap remote control RC truck, and it gives you live video, and you could use this video. However, it tends to drop frame, so the video freezes a little bit now and then, freezes a little more, and I don't like that particularly. So what I want to do is I'm going to stick my favorite camera, the Möbius, right on top of this. And we're going to scavenge a Möbius from my Armaton mini quad. I was using this to fly yesterday together with Richard out on the golf course, and he was chasing me like a bandit all over the golf course, and I crashed spectacularly. A couple of these motors here are completely bent out of shape. You can see this one here, you can see the shaft going all over the place. Richard set me up with a bunch of his Lumiere T motors, so I'm going to put some T motors on this instead of these busted motors. Thank you, Richard, for chasing me like crazy, zipping in and out of my picture, and it was Richard's fault I crashed. It was not my fault because I don't crash. Everybody knows that, right? Yeah, and if you believe that. So we're going to scavenge this camera really quickly for a demo. We'll take this one. I guess I can throw it on the grass, on the lawn. It can't hurt it more than what I did yesterday. So here, ditch the head. I put a little piece of double-sided tape on the bottom of that. See if we can get that off. And here it comes, slowly but surely. Now, double-sided tape liberated, and here comes the install. Watching it, and that was that. We have a Möbius camera installed on top of the Devo. So we use the Devo for the live video, and I'm going to use the Möbius to record video, so to get the recording quality video. Now, if I wanted, the first thing I would do to change this, I would probably try to glue something up to this thing, because this all shakes up here. You can see how much it can move back and forth. I would try to prop this up so that it wouldn't move as much. That would really be my #1 change to this high tower. But other than this is pretty much ready to send out in the lunar landscape. Put my goggles on and go driving and pretend I'm driving the Explorer up on Mars or something, because I think this is pretty cool looking. But then that's just my opinion. So here we have it. Now, and I'm gonna go right to my next subject, because I'm gonna raffle this thing off. I bought it from my friend Dave at Walkera Helicopter Supply up in Seattle, and it's not sponsored. I bought that because I thought 150 was hard to pass up. I've been playing with it, so I'm sorry it's dirty. But I'm gonna raffle it off, and we are gonna give it all of August. So to the last day of August is when we cut off the raffle. And here's what you need to do. You need to send an email to fpvguy.contest@gmail.com, and in the subject line you put RC Truck Contest, and also include your YouTube user ID, because in order to be eligible to win this, you gotta subscribe to my YouTube channel. So it's time to subscribe. Get over it, click on the subscribe button, then take your YouTube ID, email it to me, and enter the contest. End of August, we are gonna raffle this off, and I promise to be more efficient than I've been this week with the previous Y100 contest. Now, saying that, let me put this down right here, and it is time for the Y100. Are you guys ready for it? So, I didn't really know how to go about this, and to be honest with you, I still don't have a clue, because I have never done a contest before. So today in the office, I did a whole bunch of numbers. There is 48 people have subscribed and sent me an email to enter the contest. And what I did was I made numbers 1 through 48. And I have a little bit of video here. I was testing a new camera that just came in, the HX-A500 from Panasonic. So I was testing it over my ear and riding with it, and you can see how it worked. That's how I made the numbers. And then you need a big glass bowl. Unfortunately, I don't have that. So while I was picking up my beer, I got this that I use for granola in the kitchen. So that's where the oatmeal goes. I'm not sure how to draw this. We're supposed to have some sexy looking, beautiful woman standing here, doing a little thing, sticking her hand in. I thought about just shaking them out till there's one left. Well, that's really too corny, even though the result would be the same. So, all right guys, I'm looking away. And we're pulling one out. There it is. And 91, 16. Let's go for 16. So we have 16 here, and what I did was I printed off the list, and we're gonna go from the date of entry, and we are going 1. That's basically the list here, more or less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Ray says Ray. I'm sure, I hope there's a YouTube user ID in your email, because I'm gonna go and open Ray's email up on my laptop, and I'm gonna send an email to Ray. But Ray, get in touch with me, because you just won a QR100 hexacopter shipped at my expense in the US. If it costs more to ship it outside of the US, you are responsible for the difference. So that was Ray, what's number 16. Ray, you have won the QRY100 hexacopter. So, guys, I really apologize for the delay. I know it was not cool, and I'm gonna put this away and get back to the other contest. I have a problem here, guys. And I unfortunately think we have to make it a US only contest, because this box is this big. And I really don't know how to ship this internationally. So here's what I'm gonna say, and I know I'm gonna disappoint some people, but I suggest I will ship it at my cost in the US, Canada, Hawaii, so the northern North America basically, I'll ship this to any lucky winner. However, if you want to enter and you're outside, I will pay the UPS ground shipping costs towards the shipment, and you will be responsible for the difference. To be honest with you, it's a $150 truck. I don't know if it's worth it shipping it to China or somewhere. It probably was made in China, so that's one reason, but also it's 150 bucks. I would not be surprised the cost to ship this and customs in some country would be more, or at least 100 or so. So I don't know. You're welcome to enter, but I'm only willing to participate in the shipment with the UPS ground shipping value of this truck. And that would be the same value my shipping department in the office would tell me that it would cost them to ground ship it somewhere in the US. So there you have it. That is it. You have to click subscribe right now, then send an email to fpvguycontest@gmail.com, subject line RC truck contest, and include your YouTube user ID. If I could speak right, that's what I would say. So that's about it. I'm gonna kill the camera. I'm gonna sit out here and enjoy my Fat Tire beer, and then I'm gonna go in and edit this and upload it so you guys that have been yelling at me can stop yelling at me. Thank you so much for subscribing, and we've got more cool videos coming up. So subscribe now and stay tuned for more FPV videos. Guess we can turn that off. Sure this is not connected. Disconnected. I guess I have to keep the packaging so I can set this later.